Late in my pregnancy, I was experiencing severe urinary leakage. While accompanying my husband to a banquet, I couldn't hold it any longer and rushed to the restroom. Just as I opened the door, Gu Jian's childhood friend, and in turn, blocked me. "Sister-in-law, excuse me, I really need to go, let me go first." I glanced at the other restroom doors, all occupied, and worried about the baby in my womb. I pushed the door open and went in without hesitation. When I came out, Gu Jian, who was supposed to be giving a speech on stage, was blocking the doorway, waiting for me. "Meow Meow just needed to use the restroom, how could you not let her go? You made her hold it in. Do you know she almost peed her pants just now?" I was amused and retorted. "Are you saying I should let her use the restroom while I'm heavily pregnant? Gu Jian, don't forget I'm carrying your child. Besides, if she was really in such a hurry, she would have solved it instead of going to you to complain." Gu Jian was speechless, nodding. "You're right, she was just being unreasonable." That night, Gu Jian accompanied me home as usual, and I thought the matter was over. But on the day of my due date, I drank the juice he handed me. When I woke up, I found myself locked in a sauna with a temperature of over 60 degrees Celsius. And Gu Jian was standing outside the door, holding the delicate Lin Meow Meow in his arms. I heard that high temperatures can inhibit labor. You like making people hold it in, don't you? Well, I want to see how long you can hold it today. As soon as he finished speaking, several rich playboys watching the spectacle burst out laughing. "Bro, we've all prepared our bets, let's see who wins today. But aren't you afraid your wife will divorce you when she gets out?" Gu Jian didn't take it seriously. Divorce? Who would marry her, this pregnant woman, except for me? Just then, my phone buzzed. I took it out. On the screen was a picture of a vasectomy certificate from someone I hadn't contacted in 5 years, with the words, "If you're willing, I will treat you and the baby in your womb as my only true love for the rest of my life." Without replying, I sent him the address directly. As soon as I sent it, my image, soaking wet, appeared on the large screens surrounding the sauna. "Oh, isn't that Miss Shen from the Shen family? Always so aloof and cold, how did she end up in such a mess?" I know, even when her family went bankrupt, she wasn't this pathetic. I heard she deliberately made things difficult for a female employee at the company, not letting her use the restroom, almost causing the girl's bladder to explode. Oh my God. She really thinks she can do whatever she wants just because she's the CEO's wife. Good thing CEO Gu has clear reward and punishment rules, he must teach her a lesson for her spoiled rich girl attitude. As the comments flooded the screen, the playboys became even more excited and eagerly began to place their bets. "I'll bet my newly bought Ferrari, 10 minutes. I'll bet my villa in the south, half an hour." Looking at the ever-increasing jackpot on the big screen, I felt a chill despite the high temperature in the sauna. Suddenly, someone asked, "Brother Yan, how long do you bet your wife can last?" As soon as the words left his mouth, the man who should have been outside pushed the door open. Within a second, a thin layer of sweat appeared on his face. "Shen Shui, don't blame me for not giving you a chance. As long as you kneel down and apologize to Meow Meow now, I'll let you out." I looked up in disbelief. Why? What did I do wrong? I just needed to use the restroom. Besides, Gu Jian, the baby in my womb is also your child, how? Can you be so cruel? The man chuckled upon hearing this. So what? I forgot to tell you, I already have a better choice. As he spoke, Gu Jian gently stroked Lin Meow Meow's slightly protruding belly beside him, looking down at me and saying, "So, do you know where you went wrong? You almost suffocated my child." I looked at him in shock, but felt dizzy due to severe dehydration and fell to the scalding floor. My stomach slammed heavily on the ground. But the pain of the contractions, the pain of the burns seemed insignificant compared to the pain in my heart. Gu Jian and I were college classmates, and he fell in love with me at first sight. He pursued me madly for 4 years before finally winning me over. After we got together, he spoiled me endlessly, not wanting me to suffer even the slightest grievance. Everyone said that he was completely smitten with me. And because of him, I gave up the marriage my father had originally arranged for me, and even used all of the Shin family's shares during the Gu Group's major reshuffle to elevate him to where he is today. But ever since he became the CEO, he brought his childhood friend, who was raised as an illegitimate child, to the company. Officially, she was said to be an intern, but everyone knew she was actually his personal secretary. Since then, the Gu Jian who loved me deeply seemed to have died overnight. Although he was still as gentle and considerate as before, the target had completely changed to Lin Miao Miao. But thinking about the baby in my belly, I pretended not to see his change. I always thought everything would be fine after the baby was born. But now, I knew that they also had a baby, and it wasn't even a few months smaller than the one in my womb. Thinking of this, my heart was completely dead. But my eyes still couldn't help but turn red, and Gu Jian seemed stunned when he saw this. Just as he was about to say something, Lin Miao Miao's tears flowed before his. "Brother Yan, maybe we should just forget about it, let sister-in-law out, look at her like this, people who don't know might think I'm being insubordinate and bullying her. Besides, someone like her, a rich young lady, has probably never suffered, unlike us poor children who grew up, even if we're forced to pee our pants, we wouldn't dare to resist." But I clearly remembered that someone came out of the next room at that time, and she chose to complain to Gu Jian herself, but now she said that I forced her. Sure enough, the man who had just looked hesitant instantly became cold and hard again. "Shen Shui, since you're unrepentant, then just stay in there. Someone, turn the temperature up to 100 degrees. Having said that, Gu Jian scooped Lin Miao Miao up in his arms and carried her to the air-conditioned room outside the door. He was afraid she would feel uncomfortable if she stayed even a second longer. And I, accompanied by the rapidly rising temperature, couldn't breathe at all. At the same time, a sharp pain came from my stomach, instantly turning my face pale and causing me to curl up on the ground. The people in the live broadcast room started cheering when they saw this. "It looks like she can't take it anymore. Will we see the eldest daughter of the Shin family kneeling down and begging for mercy soon? That's right. Doesn't she know what 100 degrees means? I can't even stand 40 degrees outside now, let alone her, who is about to give birth." Lin Miao Miao looked smug, but pretended to be aggrieved and tugged at Gu Jian's sleeve. "Brother Jian, do you think I can really wait for sister-in-law to apologize to me?" Gu Jian put his arm around her affectionately. "Don't worry, I won't let anyone who hurt you go. I'll definitely make her apologize to you." As he said this, he quickly manipulated his phone. The prize pool on the screen was instantly maxed out. Gu Jian shouted loudly, "I'm betting all the shares of the Gu Corporation that Shen Shui will kneel on the ground like a dog and apologize to Lin Miao Miao." As soon as these words came out, everyone present gasped, and the live broadcast room exploded. Lin Miao Miao gave Gu Jian a coy peck on the chin. But my heart felt like it was being pricked by thousands of needles as I lay on the ground, only able to keep stroking my belly, forcing myself to calm down. In a daze, someone walked up to me. I looked up and saw that Lin Miao Miao had abandoned her innocent White Lotus act and was now wearing a ferocious smile. "Sister-in-law, actually you could have avoided this suffering if you just knelt down to me, why do you have to be so stubborn?" I looked at her expressionlessly. "Dream on if you think I'm going to apologize to you. Don't think I don't know that you didn't really want to go to the bathroom at all. This is just a drama you directed and acted in yourself." Lin Miao Miao wasn't annoyed at being exposed. Instead, she bent down and whispered in my ear. "That's right, I was acting. So what?" Before I could react, the next second, Lin Miao Miao knelt down in front of me. "Sister-in-law, I was wrong. I know that I have a lowly status and I'm not worthy of your apology. I overstepped. Now, I'll apologize to you instead. I was wrong, I was wrong." As she said this, she was about to kowtow to the ground. But before she could touch it, Gu Jian rushed in, looking heartbroken, and hugged her in his arms. Then he looked at me with a look I had never seen before, a look of fierce hatred, and said, "Shinshui, are you crazy? She's pregnant, and you actually dared to make her kneel down and kowtow to you." Before I could speak, Lin Miao Miao in his arms looked at him with tear-filled eyes, as if she had suffered some great injustice. "Brother Jian, forget it. It's just that I'm useless, that's why sister-in-law humiliated me so much." Gu Jian was instantly furious. "We can't just let it go like this. She dared to bully you in front of me. Besides, her overbearing nature should have been curbed a long time ago. Otherwise, how will she be able to properly raise the baby in her belly in the future?" As he spoke, Gu Jian instructed the few bodyguards outside the door. "Go, throw her onto those hot stones." A few bodyguards came in and grabbed me to drag me towards the stones, but their hands were burned as soon as they touched the edge and they quickly retracted them. One of the bodyguards carefully said, "President Gu, these stones are very hot, they might cook a person. Moreover, Madam is about to give birth, I'm afraid." At this moment, Gu Jian frowned, and a struggle flashed in his eyes. Lin Miao Miao pretended to walk over. "Brother Jian, it's okay. Sister-in-law has delicate skin, unlike me who has thick skin. It's just a kneel, but I feel sorry for our baby, who has to suffer with me." When she finished speaking, the hesitation in Gu Jian's eyes instantly disappeared. He pushed the bodyguards away, grabbed my hair, and slammed me onto the scorching hot stones. Compared to the suffering Miao Miao has endured, what does it matter if she burns off a little skin? Sizzle! In an instant, white smoke poured out of me, and the air smelled burnt. The bodyguard asked in disbelief, "Is this the smell of cooked meat?" Clearly Gu Jian smelled it too. He frowned and wanted to take a step forward to see, but Lin Miao Miao beside him grabbed him. "Brother Yen, it's so stuffy in here. I feel like I can't breathe, and it's definitely not good for the baby." With that, Gu Jian unhesitatingly picked up Lin Miao Miao, turned, and left. He didn't forget to instruct the bodyguard to close the door. Meanwhile, the originally fair skin on my back was now covered in blisters of various sizes. The skin was gone, and bright red blood seeped out of them, running down my body. The temperature in the room continued to rise. I felt like I was being roasted dry and was about to collapse. It felt like I could close my eyes and die. But the aching sensation in my belly told me that I absolutely couldn't give up. I couldn't let my child die before even seeing the world. So, I mustered all my strength to tear my arm off the stone, ripping off 2 chunks of flesh and exposing the pale bones beneath. Only then could I use my bloodied hands to support my sinking belly. At that moment, someone's phone sounded an alarm. He glanced at it and said in disbelief, "Brother Yen, the display shows the temperature inside is as high as 180 degrees Celsius. Someone's going to die." Gu Jian frowned and asked doubtfully, "How is that possible?" I told them to set it to 100 degrees. Besides, I asked the owner, and he said there wouldn't be a problem as long as the sauna room was below 100 degrees. Saying this, Gu Jian's mind flashed back to the smell of burnt meat he had just smelled. He instructed the bodyguard, "Go and check the temperature inside." Before he could finish speaking, Lin Miao Miao picked up a shoddy app she had downloaded at random and said, "Brother Yen, don't listen to his nonsense. I just used my phone to measure the temperature inside, and it's only about 80 degrees. Besides, I was watching the owner adjust it. Don't you trust me?" The hesitation in Gu Jian's eyes completely disappeared. He affectionately put his arm around Lin Miao Miao and sat down in the comfortable air-conditioned room. The live stream continued, and everyone was betting on when I would kneel down and apologize. At this point, 3 hours had passed since I was locked in the sauna. The time frames for the bets of several young masters had expired, but Gu Jian's bet was still running. Thinking of this, Lin Miao Miao smiled smugly. "It seems like no one believes sister-in-law won't kneel down and apologize. You guys have to accept your losses." As soon as she finished speaking, the previously empty prize pool on the other side suddenly filled up. It was exactly 1 yuan more than Gu Jian's side. This made everyone present open their mouths wide, and the live stream exploded. Holy crap, what's going on? Hundreds of billions just bet. Seriously, who is this person? Could it be Shinshui's family? Impossible. Her family has been gone for a long time and the company has gone bankrupt. Where would she get so much money to back her up? Everyone's gossip instincts were ignited, but this was a newly registered account, and nothing could be found out. At that moment, Lin Meow Meow smiled gleefully, feeling like someone was rushing to give her money. But Gu Jian beside her looked grim. He angrily asked through the intercom, Shinshui, tell me. Who is this person? Why is he betting so much on you? Even though my throat was already parched, I still retorted fiercely, none of your business. Just as I finished speaking, a sharp pain shot through my belly. Immediately afterward, a warm current gushed out from below. I looked down. The wooden floor beneath my feet was soaked. Not good. My water broke. A second-generation rich kid outside was the first to notice. He stammered, Brother Yen, sister-in-law. Her water might have broken. Hearing this, Gu Jian stood up nervously from the chair. Just as he was about to open the door, Lin Meow Meow stopped him. Brother Yen, I've studied medicine. Let me go in first and see if sister-in-law's water really broke. After all, it's inconvenient for you men to go in. Gu Jian nodded. Then, Lin Meow Meow walked up to me, glanced at the liquid flowing out from below, and wrinkled her nose in disgust. Good thing you guys didn't come in. This isn't her water breaking at all. It's just that sister-in-law couldn't hold it in and wet herself. The words fell, and everyone present burst into laughter. I heard pregnant women often leak urine, it seems it's true. Just can't even control her own urine, how disgusting, no wonder Brother Yen wants to find a young mistress. Hearing this, Gu Jian, who was about to enter, instantly retracted his foot, his face full of disgust. But for the sake of the baby in my belly, I still held a glimmer of hope and begged him for help. No, Gu Jian, my water broke, I'm really going to give birth. Seeing my painful expression that didn't seem fake, Gu Jian froze, preparing to come in and take a look. But Lin Meow Meow took a step ahead of him, squatted down, and pressed her hand hard on my constantly twitching pregnant belly. I couldn't help but scream in pain. Subconsciously pushing her away, Lin Meow Meow took the opportunity to fall backward. Ah, Brother Yen, save me. Gu Jian no longer hesitated and kicked the door open, instantly shocked by the wave of heat that hit him. But the brief moment of rationality disappeared the instant he saw Lin Meow Meow lying on the ground. He rushed forward with heartache, hugging her in his arms, carefully checking her for injuries. And Lin Meow Meow, leaning in his arms, cried with a face full of grievance, Sister-in-law, I just wanted to use my nursing knowledge to check the baby in your belly, but why did you push me to the ground so cruelly, and even curse the child in my belly to die? Hearing this, Gu Jian got up and walked towards me, his eyes seemingly poisoned. He tightly choked my neck, Shinshui, I think you're crazy. You'd use any underhanded trick to compete for favor. I desperately shook my head to explain, I didn't. But before I could finish, Gu Jian glared at me fiercely and said, since you're unrepentant, then don't blame me for being impolite. Today, no matter what, I'll make you kneel down and apologize to her. After speaking, Gu Jian dragged me harshly off the stone, and a large area of skin on my back was directly separated, exposing the already scorched skin underneath. I trembled all over in pain, convulsing on the ground. But the abnormal stabbing pain in my belly forced me to cling to my last breath, crawl to Gu Jian's feet, and beg desperately. The baby. Save my baby. My stomach hurts so much, quickly send me to the hospital. But Gu Jian coldly watched me howl on the ground, sarcastically saying, don't tell me, you're pretending quite well. If Meow Meow hadn't seen through it, I would have almost been fooled by you. But as soon as he finished speaking, the blood constantly gushing from under me stunned Gu Jian. At this moment, several second-generation heirs, looking at the comments section, hurriedly shouted, Brother Yen, they're saying sister-in-law is hemorrhaging severely, if you don't send her to the hospital, her life might be in danger. Gu Jian instantly panicked, and knelt carefully beside me. Shui, how are you? Hold on. I'll send you to the hospital right now. Just as he finished speaking, Lin Miao Miao righteously said, no. Sister hasn't apologized yet. I'm not doing this for selfish desires, but so many people are watching in the room, we have to give everyone an explanation. Gu Jian hesitated for a moment, and the arm placed on my waist immediately loosened. Then he whispered in my ear, Shui, as long as you apologize to Miao Miao now, I guarantee I'll send you to the hospital right away. There was even a hint of pleading in his voice. But I felt disgusted, and using my last bit of strength, I said word by word. I'm possible. Lin Miao Miao's eyes instantly turned red. Sister-in-law looks down on me so much, she'd rather die than apologize. Hearing the word die, Gu Jian's eyes turned bloodshot, and he directly ordered the bodyguards behind him, what are you waiting for, get the madam on her feet. I struggled desperately, but couldn't resist. Gu Jian stood in front of me, a trace of pity in his eyes. Shui, it's just an apology, it'll be over soon, I don't think you want anything to happen to the baby in your belly either. Besides me, who else will care if you and the baby live or die now? After speaking, he went behind me, preparing to kick the back of my knees. Just when everyone thought I would definitely kneel down. The surrounding glass doors were suddenly blown open, and a man in a bespoke suit, with an entire medical team, appeared in the sauna. Who said no one would care about them? The words exploded like a thunderclap in the small room. Qi Xiao, why are you here? Following the exclamation of one of the young masters, everyone turned their gaze in unison, recognizing the person before them as Qi Yanlin, the leading figure of the northern city's elite. Everyone's faces changed drastically. The several young masters who had been arrogant just moments before instantly lost their momentum. Gu Jian, in particular, swayed and almost fell to his knees. He quickly adjusted his composure, put on a different face, and approached Qi Yanlin humbly, trying to ingratiate himself. Qi Xiao, I didn't know you were gracing us with your presence today. Had I known, I would have cleared the place for you. Sorry to disturb your enjoyment. We were just playing a little game out of boredom. Rest assured, I'll clear the place for you right away. Qi Yanlin didn't even glance at him. He walked directly to my side and took off his bespoke suit, wrapping it tightly around me. Only when he clearly saw the festering wounds on my back did a fierce expression appear on his face. The medical team behind him hurriedly carried me to the adjacent room. Gu Jian, seeing this, wanted to step forward and stop them, but was blocked by several burly men in mercenary attire. He could only watch helplessly as I was carried away. When I saw that the entire operating room had been moved to the next room, I finally exhaled and completely passed out. After everything was taken care of, Qi Yanlin sat on the sofa where Gu Jian had been sitting, looking down at him and saying, I'm here, of course, to give President Gu a congratulatory gift. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone in the room was overjoyed, and even the bullet comments on the live stream instantly erupted. Northern City's Qi Xiao? That's the heir to the Qi family, the #1 family in the circle. More than that, he's the notorious King Yama of Northern City. I heard that people who offend him suffer terrible consequences. Oh my God, such an outstanding man is still celibate. I really wonder what kind of woman can catch his eye. I know, right? But President Gu is something too, to have Northern City's Qi Xiao travel all the way to give him a gift. But he came with a medical team just now, could he be here for Shen Shui? How is that possible? The Shen family has declined long ago. If Shen Shui had this kind of backing, would she have ended up in this state today? She would have everything she wanted. Only Gu Jian paused for 2 seconds in confusion. But looking at the comments scrolling across the screen, his heart gradually calmed down. For a moment there, he really thought that Qi Yanlin was here to help me, but then he thought, when did I get to know such a big figure, one that even her own husband didn't know about? And Lin Miao Miao beside him also looked smug, as if she had found a treasure, clinging tightly to Gu Jian's arm. But who knew that the next second, the grand gift that Qi Yanlin tossed out made her eyes widen. A document was thrown to the ground, clearly stating Gu's group equity transfer agreement. Lin Miaomiao was completely dumbfounded, and Gu Jian paused for a few seconds before finally realizing it. He asked incredulously. Could it be? Could it be that the bet from the live stream just now was made by you? Qi Yanlin said nothing, just looked down at him, tapping his fingers on the armrest one by one. His posture was that of a superior in every way. This appearance made Gu Jian's heart turn cold, but he was still not willing to give up and continued to ask. I don't believe it. What are you to Shen Shui? Why are you helping her? Mentioning my name finally brought a hint of warmth to Qi Yanlin's eyes. Because she is my woman. Gu Jian was stunned. Lin Miaomiao, who was beside him, spoke first. Brother Yan, so sister-in-law, she already. Before she could finish, Qi Yanlin gave a look, and Lin Miaomiao beside him was immediately choked by a mercenary, unable to say a word. Qi Yanlin walked up to Gu Jian and bent down. What, you painstakingly approached Shen Shui, and you didn't even find out that she used to have a fiancé? Only then did Gu Jian remember that when he investigated Shen's family background, it did show that she had a marriage arrangement, but he couldn't find out who that person was. However, he later took the initiative to ask his father to cancel the engagement, so he didn't take this matter to heart at all. Could it be you? That's right. My story with Qi Yanlin goes back 10 years. At that time, the Qi family was vying for inheritance, and Qi Yanlin, as the eldest son, was sent to an old friend of Master Qi. That person was my father. Later, Qi Yanlin lived in my house and grew up with me. The two elders were overjoyed and made the decision to arrange a marriage for us. But when Qi Yanlin was 18, he was taken back to Beijing, and I met Gu Jian in university, who pursued me relentlessly. I was moved and begged my father to help me cancel the engagement. After getting married, I never saw Qi Yanlin again. I only knew that he became the youngest president on the Forbes list. Hearing this, Gu Jian's face turned pale, but he still said, So what? She's already married to me now, and she's pregnant with my child. It would have been better if he hadn't mentioned it, but mentioning it made Qi Yanlin's eyes bloodshot. He grabbed Gu Jian's collar and roared. So this is how you treat her? You actually locked your wife, who is about to give birth, in a sauna, and broadcast it live across the internet. After speaking, he punched Gu Jian hard in the bridge of the nose. But that wasn't enough to vent his anger, so he ordered the mercenaries behind him. Go. However many injuries Ai has, I want to see that many on this pair of dogs. As soon as Gu Jian heard this, he immediately knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. Young Master Qi, it's not like that, listen to me, it was Shen Shui who was tyrannical, making the companies in turn hold her urine, that's why I thought of punishing her. I had no malicious intent, I really. Before he could finish, the surveillance footage from the corridor on the day of the banquet appeared on the big screen. Lin Miaomiao was seen complaining with red eyes, and then leisurely drinking 2 glasses of red wine, showing no signs of needing to urinate at all. Realizing he had been tricked, Gu Jian slapped the woman beside him in the face. Bitch! You dare to deceive me! Lin Miaomiao was terrified and kept explaining. No, I didn't. But Qi Yanlin didn't give her a chance to explain. He waved his hand, and the mercenaries directly separated the two of them, picked up a hot pebble, and branded it onto their backs. Their clothes instantly turned into fiber, emitting white smoke. The air was filled with a burnt smell. Ah! Lin Miaomiao screamed loudly in pain, while Gu Jian also trembled all over. But before they could react, another mark was branded on their bodies. The second-generation heirs present were all so scared that they didn't dare to breathe. It wasn't until someone noticed a large pool of water flowing from under Gu Jian and Lin Miaomiao that they realized the two had already wet themselves in fear. At the same time, the live broadcast room was shocked by this spectacular scene. Damn, this pair of dogs. They were so scared they wet themselves after just a few hits. I wonder how long Shen Shui stayed up there. I've said long ago that Gu Jian is not a good person. For the sake of an intern, he actually locked his wife, who was about to give birth, in a sauna. Also, I'm a medical student. It was obviously amniotic fluid that broke just now, but Lin Miao Miao insisted it was her pants wetting. Now she's getting her retribution, serves her right. At this time, the doctor who had just gone to perform the surgery ran out and said, "Young Master Qi, Miss Shen has given birth, it's a girl. But her back has severe burns, and she needs a skin graft immediately to prevent infection." Before he could finish, Qi Yanlin had already gotten up from the sofa. "Graft my skin." Then he ordered his subordinates, "Lock all these people up. I won't let anyone who has harmed Ai go." I woke up again to unfamiliar surroundings, my body wrapped in bandages. A burning pain came from my back. As I struggled to sit up, someone carefully supported me. I looked up and met Qi Yanlin's gaze, full of heartache. His gaze was so intense, it felt like it could burn through me. My thoughts drifted back to my wedding day when I received a text message from Qi Yanlin. It read, "If you're ever unhappy, remember to look back. I'll always be behind you." But I was blinded by love at the time and only replied, "Absolutely not." That's why, for 5 years of marriage, no matter how difficult it got, I never looked for him. But the thought that he saw me in my most pathetic state now made me lower my head. I was blind, I misjudged people, you. Before I could finish, Qi Yanlin raised his hand. I thought he was going to knock me on the head like he used to when we were kids, but instead, he held my restless hand and gently stroked my hair. There wasn't a trace of mockery in his eyes, only deep, unyielding heartache. I'm glad you're okay. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to live on." Qi Yanlin's words completely shattered my hardened heart, and tears flowed uncontrollably. Seeing me like this, even the feared living Yama of Beichen City had reddened eyes. Soon after, he wiped the tears from my face. "By the way, would you like to see the baby? It's a girl, 6 pounds 8 ounces, very healthy." Only then did I realize that my protruding belly was now flat. I couldn't wait to get out of bed. But as soon as my feet touched the ground, Qi Yanlin swept me up into his arms and carried me to the room next door. Opening the door, I found it was a very cozy nursery. I eagerly took a step forward, looking at my daughter's tiny hand on the crib. At that moment, I felt my heart melt. Thankfully, God had allowed this child to be born safely. I closed my eyes and kissed her forehead. As I was about to stand up, I saw Qi Yanlin kneeling on one knee in front of me. He held a huge diamond ring in his hand. But it was clear his hand was trembling. Marry me. No matter what happened in the past, I just want to tell you now, I love you. I promise, from now on, I will love and protect you and our daughter for the rest of my life." I nodded without hesitation. In the next second, Qi Yanlin eagerly put the ring on my hand. As if afraid I would disappear. For the next few days, because the skin on my body was severely damaged, I could only rest in bed. I learned from the doctor that Qi Yanlin had transplanted all the skin from his back to me, saving my life. That night, looking at his once strong and healthy skin now scarred and ugly, my heart warmed. I finally understood. The difference between love and lack of love is so obvious. Some people will leave you riddled with wounds. Some people will bravely risk everything for you, regardless of the consequences. This made me even more certain that Qi Yanlin was the one for the rest of my life. Through this period of rest, I also found out the truth about everything that happened years ago. It turned out that Gu Jian's initial approach to me was purposeful. He was Gu's illegitimate son, raised in an orphanage since childhood. To fight for the family fortune, he learned from others that the heir to the Shin group was a girl. Whoever married her could directly obtain the group's shares. So Gu Jian began to plot, getting into the same university as me, and then appearing frequently in front of me, even pursuing me for 4 years. Finally, on graduation day, we got together. But when I took him home to meet my father, he was strongly opposed. I went on a hunger strike for 3 days and 3 nights. Finally, my father couldn't bear it any longer and agreed to our marriage. But he made Gu Jian sign a notarized document, notarizing that I was the sole heir to the Shin Group. But unexpectedly, 3 years after our marriage, my father was involved in a car accident on the way home and passed away. I was almost destroyed in those days. Gu Jian stayed by my side day and night, helping me handle the funeral. Looking at his haggard appearance, I thought I hadn't married the wrong person. But soon, there was internal chaos in the company, and core data was sold to competitors, leading to the company declaring bankruptcy. It was also at this time that I found out I was pregnant. Gu Jian knelt in front of me, persuading me to sell the company's shares and exchange them for shares in the Gu Group, so that he could gain a firm foothold. My heart trembled, but thinking that he was the father of my child, and that the title of illegitimate son was his nightmare, I agreed. In this way, Gu Jian relied on my support to secure his position as president of the Gu Group, but the next day, he brought his childhood sweetheart, Lin Miao Miao, to the company. From then on, everything changed. My thoughts faded away. I vowed to make these 2 dogs pay the price, but Qi Yanlin said, "No need to get your hands dirty, I've already prepared everything." The next day, I saw Gu Jian and Lin Miao Miao, whom I hadn't seen in a long time, in the sauna. Both of them were in a terrible state, covered in dirt, with none of their former elegance. Upon seeing me, Gu Jian immediately rushed over to grab me, but he was kicked to the ground hard by the mercenaries beside Qi Yanlin. But he didn't give up, crawling like a dog to my feet and clutching my pants leg tightly. "Shui, I was wrong, I really know I was wrong, please let me out. I'm sorry to you, I was blind, let's start over, okay? I'm willing to compensate you, whatever you want, I'll give it to you. And I promise you, I'll break ties with her completely and never contact her again. Please, for the sake of the children, let me out, wouldn't it be good for our family of 3 to be reunited?" Hearing him mention the children, I couldn't help but laugh. "Children? Gu Jian, how dare you even mention the children? When you locked me in a sauna at 100 degrees, did you think about the children? When you were entangled with other women in bed, did you think about the children? I'm telling you, you don't deserve to be the father of my children." Hearing this, Gu Jian's face turned pale instantly, and he couldn't speak for a long time. In the end, he could only clutch my pants leg tightly, as if it were his last lifeline. "No. It's not like that. Shui, listen to me, I know I was wrong, you can punish me however you want. As long as you're willing to forgive me." I sneered. "Really? Then okay, kneel down and kowtow until you've done it 100 times. As I said that, I turned on the live stream and pointed the camera at Gu Jian in front of me. Without saying a word, he knelt on the ground and began to kowtow, even though the temperature in the glass room was already as high as 200 degrees. But he didn't seem to feel any pain. Soon his face became a bloody mess, staining the originally bright white ground red. When the 100th kowtow was finished, Gu Jian swayed as he stood up, looking hopefully at the camera and saying, "Shui, I finished kowtowing, can you forgive me?" But before I could speak, Lin Miao Miao beside him ran over to grab him. "Brother Yan, what about me when you leave? Talk to your sister-in-law and ask her to let me out too, it's too hot in here, I can't take it anymore." The woman waited expectantly for the man's response, but Gu Jian pushed her away. "Get lost, I'm warning you, stay away from me from now on." Lin Miao Miao was thrown to the ground. She looked up in disbelief. "Brother Yan, you. How could you do this to me? Have you forgotten that I'm pregnant with your child?" Gu Jian sneered upon hearing this. "Child? Who admits that the one in your belly is my seed? I'm warning you, only the one born by Shui is my legitimate child. Yours is just a bastard that I forgot to get rid of after drinking." Lin Miao Miao was completely desperate. She lunged at Gu Jian, cursing. Gu Jian, you're not human. You promised me you would marry me, and you made me pregnant with the baby in my belly, promising to make him the sole heir to the Gu group. Now you're going back on your word, kicking me away after I've served my purpose, thinking I'm useless and wanting to dump me, right? I'm telling you, in your dreams. Gu Jian was caught off guard and fell heavily to the ground, the skin on his back touching the hot glass again. Instantly, a sizzling sound was heard, and he broke out in a cold sweat from the pain. Lin Miao Miao was completely crazy, she couldn't stop laughing. Good. You lied to me, then I won't let you have an easy time either. As she said that, she walked barefoot to the front of the camera. Shen Shui, I'm telling you, your father didn't die in some accident at all, but Gu Jian revealed his whereabouts to his opponent, which led to that car. Before she could finish speaking, Gu Jian rushed over and strangled her neck. Shut up. Are you crazy? Do you know that what you're saying will kill me? After saying that, he immediately looked at the camera, constantly trying to explain to me. Shui, no. It's not like that, don't listen to her nonsense. My father's death has nothing to do with me, it's just that they threatened me with shares of the Gu group, and I had no choice but to say it. Believe me, my father was so good to me, how could I be so heartless as to kill him? Gu Jian's expression was sincere, but I clenched my fists tightly. I was right, the accident back then was indeed man-made, and although Gu Jian was not the mastermind, he was an accomplice. If it weren't for him, my father wouldn't have left me so early. Suddenly, my hand softened. I looked up and saw Qi Yanlin's gentle eyes. Don't hurt yourself, it will break my heart. I've already had those who harmed Uncle arrested, and they will be punished by law. I nodded, about to speak, when a commotion broke out in the livestream. Gu Jian frantically grabbed Lin Miao Miao's neck, seemingly still not appeased, and kicked the woman's slightly protruding stomach hard. Lin Miao Miao's eyes rolled back from being choked, and blood gradually stained her lower body red. She kept begging Gu Jian for mercy, but the man didn't loosen his grip at all, until Qi Yanlin had mercenaries force them apart. Watching them fighting like dogs, entangled with each other, I only felt disgusted. I hooked my arm through Qi Yanlin's and left without hesitation. Soon, with conclusive evidence from that year, all the culprits who plotted that accident were brought to justice. Of course, Gu Jian was one of them. On the first day of his arrest, the Gu Corporation announced a restructuring, giving back all the shares that originally belonged solely to the Shin Corporation. I changed into professional attire and personally replaced the sign that my father had worked his whole life to build, to comfort his spirit in heaven, and to assure him that I would protect the company and my father's hard work. Half a month later, the verdict was handed down. Gu Jian was sentenced to 15 years in prison for several crimes, including embezzlement and leaking company secrets. After everything had settled, just when I thought we would never meet again in this life, the prison sent me a visitation invitation. I didn't have to go, I could have the lawyer handle the divorce agreement. But I thought, I might as well make a clean break. In the prison, when Gu Jian saw me, his eyes, which were as lifeless as ashes, finally lit up. Shui, I'm sorry, I know you won't forgive me no matter what I say now. But I still want to tell you, I truly loved you, not just because of calculations. That day in school, the first time I saw you in a white dress, I was deeply attracted. I thought, how could there be such a beautiful girl in the world? Even the 4 years I pursued you, it was all from the bottom of my heart. You don't know how excited I was when you agreed to be with me, and you have no idea how much like a victory it felt to see you in a wedding dress on our wedding day. But in one setback after another, I wanted to prove myself too much, to prove that I was worthy of you, but in the end, I lost you. As he spoke, Gu Jian slapped himself hard in the face. Regarding your father, I still owe you a. I'm sorry. Also, our daughter, don't tell her she has a failed father like me. After he finished speaking, Gu Jian picked up the divorce agreement that the lawyer had given him from the table. He paused for a long time before writing the 3 words Gu Jian on the paper. As if using up all his strength. After Gu Jian handed me the divorce agreement, he wanted to say something, but I didn't give him any chance, and walked away without looking back. But as I came out, I saw the crazy Lin Meow Meow on the road. It turned out that the child in her stomach had a massive hemorrhage and couldn't be saved, and her uterus was also removed. She couldn't handle the shock and went insane. I ignored it. The next day, news came that Gu Jian had committed suicide in prison. I didn't have much of a reaction, but watched Xi Yanlin running around on the lawn. And in his arms, my daughter was laughing happily. At this moment, I let go of all the pain. I knew that this was the true happiness I had.